Well, hi everyone. We're going to get started. We're having a bit of a technical issue, but it is 7:04 and we do have three suppliers on this call today, so we do want to get a start on this. We're a few minutes behind, but we will try and push forward and still meet our hard stops. So welcome everybody. As you can see, I am currently on a ship and Andrea is going to have the pleasure of telling you all about this, but I am on a Windstar ship right now, and it's the Windstar Spirit. So this is our luxury event. I'm Teena Dowd, Vacations for Canadians, and I would like to firstly welcome Andrea Mendelson from Windstar Cruises, who is going to talk to us a little bit about her cruise line.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. I hope everybody can hear me, and a very, very warm welcome. And I say that, but look at you, Teena, in this beautiful weather, and we're all sitting in Canada with our sweaters and our polar necks and what have you. So I hope you're having a glorious time, but I'm thrilled that you're giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about Windstar. I know we don't have too much time, but at any other opportunity, you know that I'm here for you and all your clients. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to go through this presentation. I can't see anybody now, so if there is anything that you can't hear me, Teena, Rick, if you would like to just let me know if you can see this first of all, and then I'm going to go ahead with everything. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, not yet.
You can't see it yet?
Well, I see you. Are you presenting yet?
Oh, share screen. Let me try this again. Hold on. Let's go ahead and do this again. Let me know if you can see this. Oh, good. So again, a huge warm welcome, everybody. And I'm thrilled at this opportunity to be able to share with you all about, in as much time as I have, Windstar Cruises and how we truly are 180 degrees from ordinary. Teena has invited me here this evening because, or today, wherever you're, whatever time zone you're in, because we are preferred partners with Vacations for Canadians, Teena Dowd, Vacations for Canadians. So, of course, all the information I'm going to share with you today, I do want you to go back and book with Teena and her advisors and her team, because being a preferred partner, we give special amenities, special You might be thinking, well, what does that tagline mean? Well, when you think of a cruise, or Teena said, I'm here on a cruise, you don't even know the size of the ship that she's on. Because invariably, when people say, I'm going on a cruise, people tend to think of a massive, huge cruise ship with thousands of people and standing in line and jostling for space. This is not the Windstar way. 180 degrees from ordinary is taking guests in a completely different direction. And it is all about that small, intimate experience where we take you off the beaten path to places that you simply don't even think you can get to on a cruise ship. As I say, in a small, intimate, amazing way. The object for us is not just to get you to a place so you can check it off your bucket list and take a picture to prove that you were there and buy a souvenir and then have something to eat and stand in line to get back on the tender, to go out to your ship and get to the next place. With Windstar Cruises, we want you to have a true, immersive, and a real authentic experience in these amazing places that we get you to. Windstar Cruises is a small ship cruise line, not only because we carry less than 350 guests, but currently now we have 6 small ships in our fleet. 3 of them, as you can see, are the sailing ships. One of the examples in the forefront here in the foreground is a sailing ship, one of which Teena is on at the moment. And in the background, 3 of our beautiful, what we call star class ships, where they're all suites. Those only take 312 guests. The ship that Teena is on takes only 148 guests. Can you imagine that small ship, private yacht-like experience? And again, we've got a big sailing ship that takes still only 342 guests. I want to tell you that you're in good hands, and I hope Teena and her team infuse you with the confidence of knowing that we are an award-winning cruise line. So again, we're very laid back, we're casual, but we have won over and over again, award after award. And whilst it's only showing 2 Reader's Choice Awards, we actually won 3 for 2024. So again, let me just, in a nutshell, and in the time that I have, share with you about our difference, our 180 degrees ordinary difference about from us to a big cruise ship. We have 2 different types of ship, as I told you. We go to unique places, again, off the beaten path where the big ships simply can't get into. We go into the little bays, into the little harbors, into the little motus, which we are able to access. And in many instances, we can dock right in port. So talk about that like a river cruise experience. We can drop you right in port, you step off the ship, you're in the center of anything, and it's easy to get back and to and from the ship very, very easily. It is a very casual, relaxed, unpretentious experience. And while, again, many people think, well, Windstar Cruises, there must be formal nights, I've got to get dressed up every night. On the contrary, we are laid back, we are casual, we call our dress style country club casual, no formal nights, no making reservations in our main dining room. We do ask that guests make a reservation in the specialty dining rooms, but I do want you to know there is no surcharge for that. So this is a lot of reading to do. And again, in the interest of time, I'm certainly not going to read each bullet point for you. But a lot of the time people say, well, what's the demographic on Windstar Cruises? And for the most part, I want to say we welcome everybody. We don't confirm children under the age of 8. We're too small to have children's meals. We're too small to have a zip line or a racetrack on our ship. We don't have children's entertainment. But again, where you see under demographics, 45 to 70 years old, I don't want anybody to be fixated on that, because we have young couples who say to their parents and their in-laws, you look after the kids, we're going on Windstar. And we have people who are in their 80s, even in their 90s, come and enjoy Windstar for what it is. So again, just, I know there's a few little things that all of you might be reading something differently, but a lot of amazing experiences you're going to encounter by sailing on Windstar. We have 2 different ships. You heard me talk about our sailing ships, the one that Teena is on with only 148 guests. We've got another big one with 342 guests. But all 3 of what we call our yacht, our motorized yacht, our Star Plus class ships, are all 277 square feet, all have walk-in closets, all have renovated marble bathrooms, double sinks. They are amazing, and they all are ocean views. So whether anybody chooses on our ships a porthole, a panoramic window, or on one of these Star Class ships, a French balcony, every single suite or stateroom of ours is an ocean view. Windstar doesn't know what an inside stateroom is. The wind ships, the ones that have the sails, let me tell you that this is not hard work. Teena, I'm sure you haven't had to lift a finger. You get on deck, and when we unfurl the sails, you don't have to help us with the sails. You stand with a cocktail in your hand. I can see you laughing. And we hydraulically unfurl these sails to beautiful sail away music. And that is the experience. So even though these are sailing ships, the experience is still a beautiful luxury cruising experience. Now, again, you can see we take between 148. Think about it. It's like sailing on your own private yacht, right? Teena, you feel as if you own the yacht and you can walk and go anywhere. That is what we want on these ships. So in a nutshell, and very, very quickly, I want you to know with our sailing ships, we are going to be doing a lot of refurbishments and a lot of up ships where we split the ships and stretch them. So we are constantly upgrading, we are constantly refurbishing, we are constantly on top of things to give you, our potential guests, the most remarkable and exponentially fantastic experience. I do want to talk about some of our popular destinations. If you go onto our website, if you get your hands on one of our very thick, heavy brochures, we have a very robust portfolio of destinations. I'm just going to talk about some very, very popular ones right now. We go to Tahiti. We have been there all year round for the last 36 years. So when you think of Tahiti, I'd love for you to think Windstar Cruises. We used to have one of the small ships, the kind that Teena is on right now, with only 148 guests, but we are so popular in Tahiti. We had to decide that how are we going to increase capacity or get more guests into Tahiti? We're there all year round. We can't invent more days. So we are now, and it started in February, we have now taken our Star Breeze with 312 guests to Tahiti. Amazing experiences. Greece for us, one of our most popular destinations. We combine it in many instances with going to Turkey, where we do a beautiful destination discovery event in Kushadasi, in the Celsus Library in Ephesus, Turkey. We do this beautiful event. We light up this ancient ruin. We have a string quartet playing in the background, a beautiful 5-course meal. These are the type of experiences with Windstar Cruises. And if you look below the treasures of the Greek Isles, I want you to know that we're one of the few small ship cruise lines that can actually go through the Corinth Canal. We have a beautiful season in the Mediterranean. We're calling it our Winter Med. For those of you who think, well, you know what, I go to the Caribbean, or go to my all-inclusive resort, or I go to my timeshare every year at the end of the year to the sun, I want to tell you to think differently. For next year, end of 24 into 25, what about going to Europe when it is honestly 10 to 16 degrees? It is not sweltering hot. There are not the crowds. You can get into the museums, you can get into the restaurants and all the little cafes. It is a phenomenal experience, and in some instances, a lot warmer than many places in Canada. Around Iceland, wow, what an experience to go to an expensive destination, 7 days. It is outstanding. Look at our classic Italy and Dalmatian coast. Croatia is such a popular destination. I encourage those of you who want to see this beautiful country in combination with Italy to come on a Windstar cruise. So again, here is just giving you some more about Tahiti as I know in Tahiti. We take all our guests to this beautiful where we do a side dance. Other destinations that we do, I'm talking about the Celsus Library in Ephesus, Turkey. This is where we take you. But other popular destinations, what is happening here, all my slides are looking the same, I apologize, is to go to Costa Rica and Panama Canal. We're also going to go to South America in 2026. I hope all the, thank you, Teena. What a wonderful new destination. We're including Canary Islands. So what I'm really trying to say here is we are constantly reinventing ourselves. We're going to different places and not just the same. You might be thinking, with 6 ships, where could they possibly go? I hope you're getting a taste of where we are going. Europe for us is amazing. The Caribbean. So when you run to Teena and her team and you say, look, I just have to get away, and she suggests one of our Caribbean destinations, and you might say, Teena, boring. I've been to the Caribbean so many times. I would like you to listen to her and her team and also look at the places that Windstar goes when we go to the Caribbean. Virgin Gorda, Jost van Dyke, Little Bay Montserrat, St. Bart's. You are not going to find the big ships there. It is absolutely well worth your while to truly consider coming to the Caribbean, even though you might have been with Windstar Cruises. You heard me mention the Canary Islands. We are going to be going there for a short season starting in April 2024, but we are again going to have a very robust elongated season starting November 2025 going into February 2026. Now, I mentioned to you about many of you going to the Caribbean or going to a sun destination or going to your all-inclusives. And I said to you, instead of doing that, why not go to the Mediterranean during winter? Now I'm going to switch my conversation and say, if you insist on going to a warm and hot destination in the winters that we have here in Canada, what about doing a 55-day itinerary? This is for 2026. You are going to be in those warm, sunny, amazing climates on one of our biggest sailing ships. She is the Windsurf and only takes 342 guests. So honestly, you're going to get that one-on-one experience with our crew. They get to know your name on day 2. They get to know your preferences. And rather than just going into your all-inclusive, where you wake up, you go for your buffet breakfast, you go to to the beach, you come back for your buffet lunch, you go to the pool. Look at all these places that we are going to take you for the 2 months, or just a little bit less than 2 months, that you would have gone to your all-inclusive or your timeshare. We are going to be doing 55 days, visiting 33 ports and 28 islands. So we're not going to be repeating the same ports over and over. We're going to be having some overnights in some of these amazing destinations. I hope that I have whet your appetites and you're going to be running to Vacations for Canadians and speak to the team and say, this is what I want to plan for 2026. I mentioned to you South America, so we are going to be doing shore excursions or cruise tours to Ecuador, Peru. We're going to include the Panama Canal. We do the Panama Canal in Costa Rica right now. So if you are chomping at the bit and you simply can't wait till 2026, do one of those tours now, one of those cruises now. As you can see, we do cruise tours in Costa Rica. We're going to be doing it in South America extensively, as you saw some of the destinations, Greece, Mediterranean, and of course, Tahiti, where we are all year round. So I hope I've kind of whet your appetites, and you might be thinking, wow, what is the food all about? I might be running out of time, Teena, and I hope you're not going to cut me off, because I've got a little bit of extra time, as we discussed. But we are the exclusive partners of the James Beard Foundation. I hope, Teena, you are experiencing some delicious meals on board. They are an organization that recognizes globally top chefs, top sommeliers, top mixologists, and they come and train our crew how to create the most delectable, delicious, mouth-watering meals, some of which Teena is going to experience, and I hope you'll come and share with your guests when you get back. But what we do as well is, for those of you who are foodies and you want that true Epicurean experience, for 2024, we have 3 exclusively themed James Beard Foundation cruises, where not only you will sail with the James Beard Foundation ship, you'll have cooking demonstrations, wine pairings, whiskey pairings. You'll do something called Shop with Chef, where the chef, we also have to replenish. The chef takes you into the little markets, the little villages, the little towns that only we can get to. You go to the markets, you taste the food, you tell them what you want, they send it back to the ship, and you are going to have the most delicious meals that we have and that we create on board. For those of you who have changed your eating and you want only plant-based, we have a selection of plant-based in every one of our restaurants. Teena, I can see you nodding, and I hope you're going to experience that. I myself am a big meat eater, but nonetheless, there are options and opportunities for everybody on board. So if this is something that you like or that you're interested in, please know that we are aware of that and you can get that on board. What is life on board? Well, you can see it's very laid back. It's very casual. You have the choice when you are booking with Teena and her team to either choose cruise-only fare or our all-in package. We have an all-in package, which is $89 per, this is US, per person per day. And what it does include is your unlimited beer, wine, and cocktails, unlimited Wi-Fi, and Teena is on board and doing this with our Starlink. So this is being recorded with our Wi-Fi on board Windstar Cruises. It is amazing, as well as the gratuities. I encourage you to do it because you're going to feel like an all-inclusive experience. Teena, if you haven't already, I encourage you to go into our bridge. We expect you to come and meet the captain or have coffee with him in the morning or while we're sailing under the stars. A fabulous, fabulous experience. And we have a water sports platform, which I'm sure you're going to take advantage of. All the water sports are complimentary except scuba diving, because we have to get a PADI certified diver. But canoeing, kayaking, snorkeling, all the beautiful water sports that you can take advantage of. Teena, and hopefully your guests in the future will go and take advantage of our beautiful new Windstar. These are these beautiful heated lounges where they are complimentary, going to the showers, into the sauna, all complimentary. Of course, the treatments, there is going to be a charge. In most destinations that we go to that are sunny, Teena, you will experience this. We do a signature beach party where you can have your massage. It is beautiful food. We take out all the water sports. It is fantastic. And on most of our cruises, we also do our onboard deck barbecue, where we close all the restaurants one night. We have this phenomenal deck barbecue. The food is sensational, and afterwards there's a lot of dancing and it's a lot of fun. In closing, everybody, and again, Teena and team, thank you for this very short opportunity, but I do want you all to go onto our website, windstarcruises.com. Look under our specials, because there you're going to find all our latest, whether they're weekly, bi-weekly, whatever special offers we have. And then, of course, as I mentioned, because we preferred partners with vacations for Canadians, I encourage you to go to Teena and her team, because in addition to the special offers and the perks that we're going to give you, they can give you additional offers and additional perks just by booking with them. The price will be the same. You do not get a cheaper fare by coming to book direct. Some of the offers that you're going to see weekly are what we call our 7 for 7. We put 7 cruises on sale for 7 days. Again, these are deeply discounted, and you get a special bonus by booking through Teena. For those of you who travel on your own, you single or a solo guest, we have the most amazing fares where we only charge either a 20% single supplement, or in many, many instances, a 0% single supplement. Don't stay home. Come and sail on Windstar Cruises. We would love to have you. I think I'm running out of time, everybody. I truly appreciate this opportunity. I want to thank you for your time and for joining us, and I'm sure Teena. So with that, I'm going to wish you, Teena, safe travels, a beautiful trip, and thank you again for including me tonight.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us. And honestly, everything you said, I'm going to say it's bang on. The food has been amazing. The service, the crew, the ship, everything is beautiful. I'm really enjoying this. You can ask Rick. I've already messaged him about how much I'm enjoying this. And honestly, you know, this destination that I'm in, Costa Rica, you go on a big ship, you might get one stop in Costa Rica. We are sailing in and out of Costa Rica, and all of our stops are Costa Rica. We just stayed in Playa Flamingo for 2 days, and now we're sailing on to the next stop, which will be there tomorrow. Every day, a different stop in Costa Rica has been fantastic. I can't say enough about it. So, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us. And because of timing, we just don't have time for Q&A. But if anybody has any questions, please reach out to us, and we will get your answers back to you.
Fantastic. Teena, you've got to promise to contact me when you're back. We have to have a breakdown. I have to hear the details. Safe travels.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Sounds good.
Take care,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. So next up, we have Hamish Gordon. And Hamish is going to speak to us about Project Expedition. So if you've ever been to our website or asked us about shore excursions, we often will promote our reputable suppliers, one of them being Project Expedition. One of the things I love about Project Expedition, though, is that they have a program called Elevate. So I'm actually going to let Hamish tell you all about it. So, Hamish?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep, I work at Project Expedition. I'm actually not in Canada. I'm just over the border in beautiful, freezing Minnesota, but close enough to Canada in my eyes. I'd rather be in Canada, but this is where I'm stuck at the moment. So appreciate your time. You know, Project Expedition, we run high-quality excursions, tours, and transfers all around the world. But today, I'm going to talk about all the other fun stuff that we do with our Elevate program. And along the way, whoops, jump a slide, our Elevate program. So our beautiful Elevate program is dedicated to clients that are looking for different, not normal experiences around the world. We don't have every port, every city, every country. We're very selective what goes into this particular program. Most of our programs that are on our site that make it in the Elevate have been on our website for at least 1 year to 2 years. They've also got to be well received by ourselves, that either we've been on them, or they're very exclusive or very unique. For example, we do a tour in Amsterdam where you're actually going out to a tulip farm and you're going to be going around the day with the head horticulturalist. So it's not just going to behind the scenes in a museum that we can offer, it's getting the real down experiences with the locals. And of course, you know, Amsterdam's a great one, or you know, doing a charter, like private boat charter on the Great Barrier Reef, and you know, you got a boat captain that's experienced, but we bring on a special crew that will teach you all about the marine life down there in that unique place. And of course, you know, we have many more on offer. But we can do these on single day trips, multi-day trips, or just, high class transportation. If you're looking at from point A to point B, we can do all those. And the upside is if we don't have it, we can tailor it for you. So if you see an experience on our website that meets 90%, 70%, even 10% of your needs, but you want to customize it a little bit, we have a dedicated Elevate team that will craft out and change that particular experience to meet your needs. But again, for most of our Elevate programs, they're very small groups. They're either very 100% private, where it's just you and your partner or yourself that are going on these tours. For example, the Tulip Farm, you'd be just you and your couple if you're going along, or by yourself. But again, we have these in many different cities around the world. But I'm going to say it again, it's not an all. You can go to the destinations part on our Elevate page, and you'll find the different cities. We do add these more cities to our website as we go along. Takes about a month to go from approval through to being on the website on the selective cities. Again, we got some great ones in Buenos Aires, Cancun, Dublin, even out on the Grand Canyon. You can charter a private helicopter, do dinner under the stars, all these amazing different experiences that we do have on offer. And of course, it's very easy to find. You just head to projectexpedition.com and you head up to the top banner and you'll see a word called Elevate. Then you're going to end up on this beautiful page here. The good news is if you actually scroll all the way down the bottom, and I forgot to change slides, but you can change it to Canadian currency as well. So then you'll be able to pay in Canadian currency. So you're not getting converted from Canadian into US. And then you'll be able to go through the different programs and see what you want to select. Some of these are connected to even cruise ships. So if you're going on a cruise and you're going to be in beautiful Costa Rica through to Europe, down to Australia, some of these even have our back to ship guarantee, as well as our cruise friendly refund policy, which I technically call the Mother Nature policy. If your ship misses the port, you get your money back 100%. And of course, it's not just Mother Nature. If there's a strike in port or whatnot, I always call it Mother Nature because she always seems to be the one that causes the most headaches when you're on a cruise ship. But, it's unique, and they're even overland. So you can do a Elevate program across all of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, just for 2 people. Or if you're a little bit family group of 6 and 8. The good part also with this is once you get to the checkout page, you can even separate out the charges across multiple credit cards. So if you don't want to pay for your brother's trips, just like me, I will grab his credit card and we'll separate the charges. I may actually add him a service fee for being my brother, but you can separate those fees out. So if there's something on there that you love, simply click on it, head to the booking page, and you can absolutely hit the request button up the top here if you don't see what you like. And then we're going to walk through, we can customize it for you 100%. Send us an inquiry. We'll design and send you the quotes, and then we'll present it, and we'll give you a dedicated private booking link where only people that will see that program is you guys and your travel advisor. And of course, after that, we take care of you guys from all the way through. And it's really simple. You just head to the bottom of the Project Expedition website, and there's a form you fill in. Very simple and easy. Any details, if you're traveling with a family and you're looking for, I hate to say it, when I go with my family, I always try to get my dad a wheelchair because he's a lot slow at walking. I hate to say it. But any sort of requirements that your family has or yourself has, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you put those notes in there, and we're able to build off that particular program and make sure we deliver exactly what you're looking for. So if you're looking for some museums, special overlands across, Australia, across Asia, across the US even, please fill in the form, and our Elevate team will work directly with you and your travel advisors to make sure we deliver that to you. We can also include hotels. So if you have a certain class of hotel that you'd like and you're on a multi-day trip with us, we can build that in there. So if you're a high-end client that only wants to stay at a Versace hotel or a Marriott or whatever it may be, you can tell us that, and we'll certainly go work with our partners there to make sure we secure the hotels that you're looking for as well on that particular overland program. And along that, we can also offer private cars in different ports that are high-end. If you're looking for Mercedes or BMWs and you want to do a great tour of, Italy maybe, we even have some drive your own Ferraris in Italy, which I've always wanted to do, but I'm scared I'll end up crashing it and have that insurance bill. But if you're looking for unique experiences, our Elevate program is just that notch above everything else, where you just want to experience something off the beaten track that's unique, that you'll be able to go back to your family and friends when you travel home and go, you know what, I did something amazing. And here's a whole bunch of photos, and they'll be extremely jealous. But I am going to end it there. But if there's anything else I can do to help you with Project Expedition, or any questions or anything about Elevate, please reach out to your amazing travel advisors and our partners, and we'll certainly get the answers for you at any stage. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Hamish. That was amazing. And there's so many good things that come from Project Expedition, and you've been a great partner. And honestly, I think that you guys have figured it out how to, get all those other pieces for clients trying to build their trips. And it's a great add-on to what we're currently doing. So thank you for presenting. And like Hamish said, if anybody has any questions, please reach out to us, and we're happy to get your answers to you.
Even though I'm not in America, I still love Canada. I hate to say it, because they're part of the
Go Canada.
Commonwealth.
Thanks, Hamish.
I appreciate it. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye. All right, so we are going to move on to our next supplier, who is Melissa Young. And Melissa is with American Cruise Lines. And here's another cruise line that I have been on, and I can honestly vouch for was a fantastic sail that we had. We went on the Mississippi December of 2022, and we had a fantastic time. Excursions, food, ship, everything was wonderful about it. And honestly, I didn't think American Rivers were on my bucket list, but they are now, and they should be on everyone's bucket list. That's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to pass it over to Melissa at this point.
So much. That's so kind of you. Can everyone see my screen?
We can see you, but not your screen, not if you're presenting.
Okay, let me try one more time here. Can you see my screen now?
No. Yes.
Oh, there it is.
There we
Yes.
go. It looks good. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for having me today. I'm a pleasure to. It's a pleasure. And I followed my husband's career, and we ended up living in the US now. And some of the itineraries we're going to talk about are ones that I've had the pleasure of exploring since I've been here. And I hope I can inspire some of you to want to do the same. And really, the ACL way, the American Cruise Lines way, is meant to share the stories of America on the finest American ships. So really important to note who we are and what sets us apart. We are family owned and operated, and we've been in business now for more than 50 years. We are the only cruise line to build our very own ships. We built them at our own shipyard called Chesapeake Shipbuilding in Salisbury, Maryland, where we build them to spec in ways that we think will offer the best guest experience. And also important to note that our ships fit the rivers that we sail on as well, which is so important. 90% of North Americans can drive to our ports. So if you have some time on your hands, you could combine a road trip with a cruise and have the ultimate holiday. Our ships are flagged and crewed by Americans. We have an all-American crew, and we are committed to elevating the domestic small ship cruising experience. We've won a ton of awards. This year has been record-breaking in terms of awards, but one of the ones that I hold near and dear is we won from Cruise Critic the best river ship for 2023. And that's the first time that they've given that award to an American cruise line. And then in terms of what sets us apart, well, first and foremost, it's got to be the ships. We have the smallest ships with the largest staterooms, and we're able to go places other cruise lines cannot. We're committed to gracious hospitality, delicious cuisine, and daily entertainment. All of our staterooms are exterior staterooms, which is so important. The vast majority of them have balconies. And if you have a balcony, It's a private balcony. So all these things, so important, small things I say, but things that really set us apart. In terms of the type of ships you can sail when you come with us, we have 4 different categories. We have our coastal cruise ships that sail in the Atlantic and the Pacific, usually in the New England, Maine area, and then also on the Puget Sound. And we actually have 5 itineraries that cruise up to Alaska. We do the inside passage from Seattle up to Alaska, and then we have a lot of other options for sailing in and around Alaska. A main difference to being a small ship is that we are one of the few that can overnight in Glacier Bay in Alaska. They only let the small guys do that. Onto our coastal cats. These are brand new. We launched the first 2 in 2023, and we have 2 more planned for each year for the next 5 years. And they're small. There are 55 cabins, 100 guests. It really feels like you're on a private yacht, and we can sail in 12 feet of water. So you can imagine we're not docking in cruise ship terminals. We're docking in small harbors alongside private sailboats and yachts, and in right alongside, you know, the cities as well, small towns. So those are really exciting. They spend their summers this year in Florida. We've got some itineraries in the Southeast and in Florida on the Gulf Coast. And then they're going to come up to the New York area. They're going to sail the Hudson River and Chesapeake Bay, and they're going to sail up to New England. So those are really, really terrific. We have our paddle wheelers, 4 of them. 2 of them are on the Mississippi, of course, and 2 of them are on the Columbia and Snake Rivers. They've recently been refurbished, and they sort of help with that nostalgic feeling of an historic voyage on these rivers that were once the highways for our pioneers. And then we've got our modern river boats that are newly built between 2018 and 2023. And they are, if you've cruised in Europe, very similar to the river ships that are there in size and in layout. And they have every modern amenity. So if you're wondering what it's like to sail with us and what the cabins look and feel like, well, I would have to say they're like a hotel room. They're spacious. They range from 200 to 650 square feet, and have these, you know, lovely panoramic views. All of our new ships are building for floor to ceiling windows, and you can see the beautiful private balcony. In terms of the bathrooms, again, it feels like you're in a hotel bathroom, really full-sized. All of our showers are walk-in showers, everything you could possibly need. When it comes to dining, this is another thing that sets us apart. With some ships, you may be assigned a sitting for dinner because they cannot accommodate everyone at once. So you might have the early sitting or the late sitting. With us, there's only 1 sitting. We can seat all of our guests at the same time. We usually start local performers. It could be musical performers, it could be spoken word, it could relate to culture or nature. And this is where we try to offer an enriching experience by bringing the stories. One of my very favorite places on the ship. This is where I go. It's a tradition. Whenever we're about to set sail for the first time, it's to the sun deck. You see this walking trail, but for me, it's a glass of wine with your feet up, watching the scenery slowly float by. There are not a lot of ships on the American rivers, so you really feel like you're doing something special. But this is truly the type of holiday you can have that allows you to sort of disconnect, decompress, and slow down. So now you might be wondering where we sail to. Well, we've got 50 different itineraries in 35 states. When most generally where people start, it's like positive feedback from the Columbian snake. You'll just the change in topography and landscape from the lush west northwest into the canyons. Really an incredible itinerary. But we also do the north view of my favorites. So I born and raised in Toronto. I now live just outside of New York City, 2 blocks from the Long Island Sound. And this is where I've come to spend the past 6 years exploring this area. And I have to say, there is such a strong sailing culture in this part of the world. Many of you will know that one of the Vanderbilts wrote the America's Cup rules in Newport. And to be able to visit these destinations and arrive by water is the way to go. It's an entirely different experience when you can do it by water. So we've got the Hudson River you can see here that does round trip New York City. You could sail from New York to Boston on the Long Island Sound. You can go harbor hopping from Providence, Providence, Rhode Island to Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Block Island. We also have many itineraries up in New England and in Maine. This is brand new for us this year. We're going to start sailing this summer. This New York to Boston. It's a one-way. You could also do the reverse. Brand new cruise. I mean, really, to stop in places like Port Jefferson or Sag Harbor, which is part of the Hamptons, Mystic, Connecticut, if you've seen that movie, Mystic Pizza. We are the only cruise line to sail into Plymouth Harbor. So to be able to see the Plymouth Rock and sail past the replica of the Mayflower as early settlers did is quite exciting. I'm just going to sample some of our excursion highlights on some of these to give you an idea of what could be done during the day. So on this particular cruise, we visit the Massachusetts Maritime Academy, the Mystic Seaport exploration. We do the New London Harbor and United States Coast Guard Academy. There's a steam train and riverboat museum in Essex. In Sag Harbor, there's a whaling and historical museum we visit. And Port Jefferson, we visit a brewing company. There's so much to do in all of these ports of call. And then, of course, up in Maine, you can see up in Bangor, we're the only cruise line to be able to sail up there. But this one is round trip from Bangor, 7 nights. And, you know, just really celebrating all the lovely lighthouses and all the little harbors and, you know, the coastal towns along the way. Some of the excursions on this particular itinerary include the Ananda Yoga and Wellness Experience. We do a lobster bake luncheon on a lot of these itineraries, including here. An optional excursion would be to go to Acadia National Park. We do a historical walking exploration in Castine, and we visit the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. In the Southeast, now you're seeing, this is our complete Southeast. So someone could get on our ship in Washington, D.C. and sail all the way around to St. Petersburg, Florida. It's quite a lengthy itinerary, but this can also be broken up into mini itineraries. So if you wanted to, you could just sail in Chesapeake Bay, in and out of Washington, D.C. We do an American Revolutions cruise, and we visit Williamsburg, Jamestown, Yorktown. We also sail from Charleston. It's a very popular cruise to sail from Charleston, South Carolina to Amelia Island, Florida on the Intracoastal. We get on the ship right in Charleston. And I have to say, coming out of Charleston, the Intracoastal is quite narrow. You see the most beautiful mansions with private yachts and docks. And then it gets pretty natural looking. It's seagrass and tiny little islands, and you don't see anything but nature for a short while. We visit Beaufort, South Carolina, where they filmed parts of Forrest Gump. We go to Hilton Head. In Savannah, we dock right beside the JW Marriott on the riverfront. We go to Jekyll Island and St. Simon's Island, and we finish in Amelia Island, Florida. We also sailed some of the Florida rivers as well. And then we do the Florida Gulf Coast and Keys round trip from St. Petersburg. And so here's some of those itineraries sort of broken out a little bit so you could show you, we could visit the Dry Tortugas. We dock right in Key West by Mallory Square. So as soon as the ship is docked, the gangplank goes down and our guests are welcome to take a stroll maybe before cocktail hour, or you start exploring. It's such a nice, easy way to travel. The Mississippi, as I mentioned, is our most popular, and it's so iconic. It tends to be the first river people look at sailing to. And here you could sail round trip from New Orleans. That's our shortest itinerary at 6 nights. Or you could sail, very popular to do, New Orleans to Memphis or Memphis to New Orleans. We also do the upper Mississippi from St. Paul to St. Louis, or if you so choose, you can do the entire river. We sail some of the tributaries as well, which you see on the left portion of this map. We sail from Nashville to Chattanooga on the Tennessee River. And then we sail the Ohio River from Pittsburgh to St. Louis. And we'll get into that a little more in depth in just a second here. So the Tennessee River, clients here can cruise the Tennessee Valley aboard one of our newest riverboats. And this journey includes the sounds of iconic music, the sights of Civil War history, and the smells of whiskey and bourbon. Some of the excursion highlights would be an evening show at the Grand Ole Opry. We do a Paducah city excursion and a visit to the National Quilt Museum, which delights both crafters and non-crafters alike. We visit Shiloh National Park, and Shiloh was, of course, is known for its being one of the largest casualties in the Civil War. I think they lost over 20,000 soldiers here. So it is hallowed ground, and we can visit along with the National Park Ranger at Shiloh. There's the opportunity to golf at the Shoals. And we also visit, other places along the way, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, and a culinary experience in Chattanooga. We've added on to this, and this is new for us. We have a lot of cruises that you can add on a visit to a national park. It's been hugely popular. Here, what you would do is you would sail what we just talked about, the Tennessee River, and then you would add on 2 days at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We also sail the Grand Ohio River. It's 10 nights long. It travels through America's heartland from St. Louis to Pittsburgh, or of course the reverse. And some of those excursion highlights include the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, the Kentucky Derby experience, and the St. Louis Gateway, which I recently saw for the first time. It was incredible when it's so impressive. When it's right there, just on the Mississippi. In the Pacific Northwest, very popular to sail Portland to Clarkston or the reverse on the Columbia and Snake River. We've added this year the option to add on some national parks. We'll talk about that in a second. The other cruise we do that's nearly sold out already is we sail round trip Seattle to the Puget, through the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands. They're all U.S. ports of call with the exception of Victoria, BC, and we do a lovely visit to the Butchart Gardens there. And there is a tulip festival in the Skagit Valley on this particular cruise in the springtime. So if there are any flower enthusiasts out there, it's something they might want to note. And then this National Parks and Legendary Rivers itinerary would be what we just talked about, the Columbia and Snake, Portland to Clarkston, and then that's 7 days. And then you would add on 7 more days at the national parks. We go to, in our own coaches with our own guides, we would take you to Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and then you would end in Jackson. And some of the highlights on here are Cape Disappointment State Park, of course, the Multnomah Falls, which is on all of our Columbia and Snake cruises, the Pendleton Experience, Hell's Canyon Boat Adventure, which is a must, and then, of course, those national parks. I did mention a couple of theme cruises, which I'll highlight a few more, because if you have a particular interest in something, I think it's important to know our ships are small, our guests get to know each other. At most, it's 180 guests, sometimes it's 100, so depending on the size of the vessel. So you really get to have the opportunity, A, for our crew to know you and to get to know our crew, and also to mingle with other like-minded individuals and make friends. So you might, find other kindred spirits on some of these theme cruises. We do a Lewis and Clark on the Columbia Snake, following in the footsteps of these famed explorers. We also do vineyard cruises on the Columbia and Snake River, the Tulip Festival I mentioned on the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands, as well as whale watching on that same cruise in the spring and May of every year. On various itineraries, we have art immersion cruises where we bring an artist aboard, and there will be art lessons and the opportunity to paint or do whatever drawing, sketches along with that artist. We have our Civil War themed cruises that focus on Civil War battle sites. We do a Mark Twain tribute cruise on our Upper Mississippi cruise of the Mississippi. So this would be from St. Paul, cruises from St. Paul to St. Louis, visit Hannibal, Missouri, which is the hometown of Mark Twain. So we have a Mark Twain impersonator join us, and we have a deep dive into his experiences growing up on the Mississippi. And then we also have holiday cruises. So if no one's keen to host for Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, we do a lot of family groups, multi-gen family groups that can come on board and just enjoy the holidays together without any of the worry. So you might be wondering what's included on our cruises. Well, first of all, they are virtually all inclusive. The only thing you could possibly spend some more money on when you're with us is if you choose to do some elevated excursions. All of our cruises include featured excursions that are complimentary to all guests. And then these would be basic city tours, and then the premium excursions would range in cost from $10 to $95, and they include things like the Hyannisport experience in Cape Cod. They would include our Prohibition Museum in Savannah with a cocktail. So they range, and you would be able to pick which ones you wanted to do. And then our signature excursions have limited availability. So these would be things like a jet boat ride, or we offer a seaplane ride over the Dry Tortugas National Park. So those things, limited availability, and usually at a higher price point. And all these excursions are shown to you 2 months ahead of the cruise, so you can cherry pick and plan out your days. On many of our cruises, we offer a complimentary pre-night. These cruises tend to be on the Columbia Snake River, Mississippi River, and Juneau, Alaska departures. So if there is a complimentary pre-night included, our coaches will come to the hotel the next morning and transfer you to the point of embarkation. Should you like to stay longer, we partner with hotels, and we can offer packages that we could quote if you wanted to extend your stay ahead of any of our cruises. And with that, I thought I would just say thank you for your time. And if anyone has any questions, and we would love to welcome you on our small ships sailing the rivers of America.
Thank you so much, Melissa. That was really enlightening. And like I said, I've been on American Cruise Lines. I was actually on the Symphony just over a year ago. Was fantastic. And honestly, a great experience. So thank you for the presentation. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at sales@vacationsforcanadians.com, or you can email Rick directly at rick@vacationsforcanadians.com. You can also visit our website, which is vacationsforcanadians.com. So thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you again, Melissa, for your presentation, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.